right? Semiconductors are the substance, or you can take solid. The solid whose conductivity lies between conductor and insulator, isn't it? Therefore, the solid whose conductivity, the solids whose conductivity lies between conductor and insulator called semiconductor. Example, silicon and germanium. Very commonly using semiconductors. Silicon semiconductor, even you can use germanium also, or example for semiconductors. Right, semiconductors are basically classified into how many types? Two types. One, intrinsic semiconductor. Second one is extrinsic semiconductor. There are two types of semiconductor. Okay, listen first. There are two types of semiconductor, intrinsic and extrinsic. So what are intrinsic semiconductor? The semiconductor whose conductivity increases by increasing temperature. Right? The semiconductor whose conductivity increases by increasing temperature. So by increasing temperature, semiconductor conductivity increases. Such kind of semiconductors are called intrinsic semiconductor. Right? So can you tell me example? Silicon. So same silicon can be taken as a example for intrinsic. For example, let us take it is a silicon semiconductor. One silicon atom is linked with 4 silicon atoms. Yes or no? Like this. Okay. Right? So the semiconductor whose conductivity increases by increasing temperature. So why it is increases? When the silicon, example, when the silicon semiconductor is heated, so some of the silicon bonds will be broken. So when silicon bonds will be broken, as a result, a free electrons are created on silicon atom. So therefore, these free electrons are responsible for what? Increasing the conductivity of semiconductor. That's it. Therefore, by increasing temperature, some of the silicon bonds will be broken. Due to breaking the silicon bonds, so free electrons are created. So which is responsible for what? Conductivity of silicon semiconductor. This is intrinsic. Next is extrinsic semiconductor. Extrinsic semiconductor is the semiconductor whose conductivity increases by adding impurities. Yes. So therefore, the semiconductor whose conductivity increases by adding the impurities called extrinsic semiconductor. Then the process of adding the impurity called what? Doping. Then extrinsic semiconductor again classified into two types. One, N-type semiconductor. N is a negative. Second one is P-type semiconductor. Right? There are two types of semiconductor. So first one is N-type semiconductor. What are the N-type semiconductor? The semiconductor which is doped with pentavalent impurities. What are the pentavalent? 15th group like phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth, etc. Right? The semiconductor which is doped with pentavalent impurities called N-type semiconductor. Pentavalent are 15th group element. Whereas what are the P-type semiconductor? P is a positive. The semiconductor which is doped with trivalent impurities. What are the trivalent impurities? 13th group element. Boron, aluminium, gallium, etc. Thallium, etc. called trivalent impurities. Right? When semiconductor doped with trivalent impurity, which is called P-type semiconductor, P is a positive. Right? Then, in case of N-type semiconductor, let us take example, silicon semiconductor. In silicon semiconductor, each silicon atom is linked with 4 silicon bonds. Okay, because tetravalent is like similar to carbon, silicon is a tetravalent like this. Tell me now, here silicon is doped with pentavalent impurity. Let us take first pentavalent impurity. When silicon semiconductor is doped with pentavalent impurity, some of the silicon atoms are replaced by what? Phosphorus. Let us take phosphorus, pentavalent. When silicon is doped with phosphorus, some of the silicon atoms are replaced by phosphorus. Here also, some silicon atoms replaced by phosphorus. But we know that phosphorus has how many valence electron? 5, because 15th group element. Since phosphorus has 5 valence electron, 4 valence electron makes 4 bonds. Still there is a 1 free electron is available on each phosphorus, because there are 5 electrons. So 4 electrons form the 4 bonds. Still there is a 1 free electron is formed or present on each phosphorus. So this free electron is a negative charge or not? It is a negative charge. So therefore, then the conductivity increases due to negative charge, hence it is called N-type. N means negative. In this way, their conductivity increases. Next is P-type semiconductor. In case of P-type semiconductor, when let us take silicon semiconductor, when silicon semiconductor is doped with trivalent impurity. Can you tell me example for trivalent? Boron, aluminum, anything can be taken. Okay, let me take boron. Okay, when this silicon semiconductor is doped with boron, so what happened? Some of the silicon atoms are replaced by, obviously, boron atom. Some of the silicon atoms replaced by boron, but we know that boron is a trivalent. Boron can form only 3 bonds because it has 3 valence electron. Therefore, this 1 electron will be disappear, 1 bond disappear, 1 bond will be disappear. But silicon has how many electron? 4 electron, 1, 2, 3. But still there is a 1 electron. Silicon has 1 electron. And on the boron, there is a positive hole is created because there was bond. No, before boron there was bond was there. This bond is broken, which create a positive hole on each boron. Then the conductivity of N-type, P-type semiconductor is because of these positive holes. Therefore, this is a positive hole. So, due to positive hole, the conductivity increases. Therefore, they are called P means positive, P-type semiconductor. Okay. Next, uses of semiconductor. So, there are 2-3 uses. You know it. Tell me. 1, where semiconductors are used in the diodes. Right? Semiconductors are used in diode. Which diodes? PNP diode, NPN diodes. So where these diodes are used? In transistors. Okay. Second one, even it is used in transistors. Okay, to amplify the signals. Next, even semiconductors are used in photoelectric cells, isn't it? They are also used in photoelectric cells. So these 3, in solar panels. So these 3 are the important uses. So 3 uses given in inside textbook. Okay, understand? Okay, write down. Right. So what are magnetic properties of solid and types of solids based on magnetic properties? Okay. Listen here. So the magnetic says solids having magnetic property. So based on magnetic property, solids are classified into para, dia, ferro, antiferro and ferri. Right. So they are classified into the following types. But what is the reason for magnetic property? See, yes, the reason for magnetic property is in case of solid, it may be electron or it may be domains. Right. If you take electron, let's study electron. If you take electron, if any ion having free electrons, that is unpaired electron. Right. So we know that electron move around the nucleus. It is a nucleus. here if it is electron is, it is a unpaired electron. If there is a unpaired electron in orbital, so that electron move around the nucleus, which is called orbital motion, right? This electron has orbital motion, right? Along with orbital motion, it also has spin motion, so, right? So each electron also has spin motion. Spin motion. So orbital, what is orbital motion? Orbital movement, electron move around the nucleus continuously, that is orbital motion. What is the spin motion? Electron can also move along its axis, its own axis. It is like this, spinning. So it spin along its own axis and it revolve around the nucleus. Therefore, the orbital motion is moving around the nucleus. Spin motion is moving its own axis. So these two are perpendicular. Right. So therefore, if any charged body, any charged particle have motion, two motions perpendicular to each other, which create a magnetic field. Therefore, each electron also create magnetic field. So that is the reason solids having magnetic property, right? Because we know that solids having free electron, right? If the solids having free electron, so there may be a this kind of arrangement is possible, right? So therefore, so based on magnetic moment or magnetic property, solids are classified into 1. Paramagnetic, 2. Diamagnetic, 3. Ferromagnetic, 4. Antiferromagnetic, and fifth one is ferrimagnetic substance. This classification is based on magnetic property of solid. Okay, let's study one by one. First one is paramagnetic substance. What are the paramagnetic substance and examples? Right. Paramagnetic is the substance which are weakly attracted by the external magnetic field. Right. For example, we know that, let us take bar magnet. Bar magnet create magnetic field, no? South pole, north pole. You have studied in physics also, right? Tell me which create a magnetic field. Now this magnetic field, let us take, it is a external magnetic field. Okay. Now suppose if this pen is a paramagnetic, if I place this paramagnetic substance in this field, what happen? Whether it is attracted or repelled? It is attracted. Yes or no? So how it is attracted? Very strongly or weakly? It is weakly. That means the substance which are weakly attracted by the external magnetic field called paramagnetic substance. If it is a this paramagnetic substance, it is very slightly, weakly, nothing but poorly attracted by this magnetic field. Such substances are called paramagnetic substance. Okay, next. Then what is the reason for paramagnetism? The reason for paramagnetism is presence of, yes, presence of one or more unpaired electrons. If the solids having one or more unpaired electron, so they will have, they can exhibit paramagnetism, right? Therefore, paramagnetism is purely due to presence of one or more unpaired electron. And one more important point is, in the absence of magnetic field, right? In presence of magnetic field, they are attracted. Then what about in the absence of magnetic field? When the magnetic field is removed, so when the magnetic field is removed, so this substance loses their magnetic property. Therefore, paramagnetic substance loses their magnetic property in absence of magnetic field, right? So these are the important point about this paramagnetism. Next is example. So what are the example for paramagnetic substance? So example, tell me, the best and very very important is O2. O2 is a paramagnetic substance. See, yeah, in chemical bonding we study the structure of O2 explained by VBT, valence bond theory. Okay, but according to valence bond theory, this O2 is a diamagnetic. but VBT could not explain the paramagnetic behavior of oxygen. This paramagnetic behavior of oxygen can be explained by MOT, molecular orbital theory. So therefore, O2 is a paramagnetic. Remember, N2 is a diamagnetic. So O2 is a para. And what are other paramagnetic substances? Even you can take N2O. No, N2O, NO and NO2. These NO, NO2 both are having unpaired electrons, means free electrons, odd electrons. Nitrogen has odd number of electron. How? We know that nitrogen has 15th group, 5 valence electron. There is one oxygen form, double bond. Still there are how many electron? 1, 2, 3. So odd or even? Odd. The species which are having odd number of electron, they are paramagnetic. And similarly, NO2, nitrogen has 5 valence electron. There are 2 oxygen. We know that oxygen is a divalent. It is also divalent and still it has 1 electron, odd electron. Therefore, NO2 also paramagnetic. Next, other examples are ion, D block ions, right? So they are having D1 to D9. Remember, D1 to D9 electronic configuration, all are paramagnetic. D1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Therefore, example, you can take many more, like Fe plus 2, Fe plus 3, right? Mn plus 2, Cr plus 3, Cu plus 2, etc. D1 to D9, all electronic configurations are paramagnetic. Tell me. Iron, not ion. Iron, cobalt, nickel in the form of atomic state, not ionic state. These are ferro. These are ions. Ions are para, atoms are ferro. Okay. Fe plus 2. Fe na? Iron. No, iron has, Fe plus 2 has how many electron? No, it has 3D 6 electronic configuration. Fe plus 2, 3D 6, right? So 3D 6 electronic configuration. In 3D 6, tell me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 number of unpaired electrons, therefore paramagnetic, right? So therefore, like that we study in D block element also, but here we want to focus on solids, right? Oxygen, NO, NO2 and all ions having D1 to D9 electronic configurations are paramagnetic. Okay, next, diamagnetic substance. Tell me, what are diamagnetic substance? It is quite opposite to para. The substance which are weakly repelled by the magnetic field. Yes or no? So therefore, the substance which are weakly repelled by the external magnetic field. For example, if this pen is a dia, when I place in this field, what happened? Whether this pen repelled by the field or attracted by the field? It should be repelled by the field. How it is? Weakly, means poorly, right? If this pen is repelled by the magnetic field, external magnetic field, poorly or weakly, then that is called dia. Therefore, diamagnetic substance, they are poorly or weakly repelled by the external magnetic field. Then what is the reason for diamagnetism? So diamagnetism is due to presence of paired electron, right? It is due to presence of paired electron or nothing but absence of unpaired electron, right? So when you get paired or unpaired electron, paired means it is D10. So all D10, in D10 all are paired, or where is absence? D0. Therefore D10 and D0 electronic configurations will give diamagnetism. And what are the example crystals? We are studying crystals now. So what crystals can exhibit this? Remember N2. O2 comes here, N2 here. and sodium chloride, potassium chloride, even water, benzene, C6, C6H6. Other than this, ions having D0, D10. D0, can I take scandium plus 3, titanium plus 4, vanadium plus 5, chromium plus 6, manganese plus 7. All these are having D0 electronic configuration. Okay. Whatever D10, zinc plus 2, D10, Cu plus. So both are D10. So therefore, D0, D10 electronic configurations are diamagnetic substance. Okay. Next is ferromagnetic substance. Ferromagnetic substance. Tell me, what are ferromagnetic substance? So ferromagnetic substance are similar to para only. Similar to para only, but if the paramagnetism is increases to extreme level, then para nothing but becomes ferro. Right. Therefore, what are paramagnetic substance? The substance which are poorly attracted by the external magnetic field. Then what about ferro? The substance which are strongly attracted by the external magnetic field, called ferromagnetic substance. Then ferromagnetism is a extreme form of paramagnetism. It means when paramagnetism goes on increases at particular stage, para converts into ferro. Therefore, ferro is a extreme form of paramagnetism. But one more difference between para and ferro is, we have studied in case of paramagnetic substance, when the magnetic field is removed, when the external magnetic field is removed, so can they behave as a magnetic substance? No, they loses their magnetic property. That means paramagnetic substance loses magnetic property in absence of external magnetic field, whereas in case of ferro, even magnetic field is removed, they do not lose their magnetic property. Therefore, ferromagnetic substance do not lose magnetic property even in absence of external magnetic field. Then what is the reason for ferro? The reason for para we have studied. It is due to presence of one or more unpaired electron. But ferro is not due to presence of one or more unpaired electron. It is due to presence of domains. Right. In ferromagnetic substance, some of the metal ions grouped into a region. Right. Like some of the metal ions, for example, take iron only. Like some of the metal ions or metals, they group into a region. They form one group. Like iron. Okay. They form a group. That group is called one region. This region is named as domain. So here each domain acts as a small magnet, which is called tiny magnet. So tell me, what is a domain? Ferromagnetism is due to presence of domain. What is a domain? Domain is nothing but a group of metal ions, a group of metals. So some metal ions or some metals, they group it into a small regions, 1, 2, 3 like this. So this group is nothing but one domain, a group of metal or group of metal ions. They form they called domain. So here each domain acts as a small magnet, which is called tiny magnet. Therefore, ferromagnetism is due to presence of not free electron, it is due to presence of domains. But in absence of magnetic field, these domains are oriented randomly. Right? For example, like one domain is clockwise, other domain is like this, another domain is like this. They oriented randomly. In absence of magnetic field, these domains are oriented randomly, but in presence of magnetic field, these domains, they oriented in a direction of same direction, that is a direction of external magnetic field. Therefore, in presence of magnetic field, how they oriented? They oriented in a one direction, that is a direction of external magnetic field. As a result, they produce a strong magnetic field. So each domain is a small magnet. They collectively produces strong magnetic field. Therefore, they are strongly attracted by the external magnetic field. So example, iron, cobalt, nickel and CrO2 are example for, you have to remember those example only. In textbook given those example. Ferromagnetic substance. Do you understand? Tell me, what are ferromagnetic substance? The substance which are strongly attracted by the external magnetic field called ferromagnetic substance. Ferromagnetism is a extreme form of paramagnetism, right? So, but ferromagnetism do not lose their magnetic property even in absence of, that's what it is called, permanent magnet. Ferromagnetism is a permanent, it is a permanent magnet, that is not a permanent, that is temporary, it is a permanent magnet. Okay, therefore, next is ferromagnetism is due to presence of domain but not due to presence of electron, unpaired electron. Right, what is the domain? In ferromagnetic substance, some of the metal ions are grouped into a small regions. Those small regions are called domain. Each domain acts as a tiny magnet. But in presence of, in absence of magnetic field, all the domains are oriented randomly. So since they are oriented randomly, their magnetic field is, each produce magnetic field, they produces magnetic field and they mutually cancelled in the absence of magnetic field. But in presence of magnetic field, they oriented in a one direction, which is in the direction of the magnetic field. Therefore, which produces strong magnetic field. Hence, they are very strongly attracted by the external magnetic field. Examples are iron, cobalt, nickel and CrO2. Okay, right till here. Antiferromagnetic substance. Okay, so antiferro is, it is a opposite to ferro, right? Tell me, in ferromagnetic substance, ferromagnetic substance having domain structure, like similar to ferromagnetic substance, antiferro also having domain structure, but they are having equal number of clockwise and anti-clockwise domains. So due to equal number of clockwise and anti-clockwise domains, the magnetic moment or field produced by the clockwise domains mutually cancelled by anti-clockwise domains. So they have equal number of clockwise and anti-clockwise domains. That's it. Therefore, what is the net moment is 0. Okay. Example. So here is manganese MnO oxide, MnO2, Mn2O3 are example for, even V2O3 also example for antiferromagnetic substance. That's it, right? Similar to ferromagnetic substance, antiferro also having similar structure of domain. They have domain structure, but they have equal number of clockwise, anti-clockwise domains. As a result, the magnetic field produced by the clockwise domain is mutually cancelled by anti-clockwise domain. The resultant magnetic moment is 0. Okay. Next is last one, ferrimagnetic substance. Right. Similar to ferri also having domain structure. Okay. But they are having unequal number of clockwise and anti-clockwise domains. Some domains are clockwise, 1, 2, 3, and some are anti-clockwise, 1, 2. So it is unequal. Therefore, so here ferrimagnetic substances have unequal number of clockwise and anti-clockwise domain. As a result, they produces weak magnetic field. Therefore, they are weakly attracted by the external magnetic field. Then example. So for this example, remember Fe3O4. Okay, in Fe3O4, 1 is a Fe plus 2 and 2 are the Fe plus 3 ions are there. So therefore, you can write general formula is M, it is a plus 2 divalent, and Fe2O4. M is a +2. It should be +2 ion. And Fe2O4. It means there is a ion magnesium with magnesium. Mg +2 will be there. And Fe2 will be there. O4. And even zinc. Fe2 is there. O4. Even manganese, copper, nickel, Fe2, O4, etc. Copper, Fe2, O4, etc. are example for ferrimagnetic substance. Okay. See, the difference is antiferro and ferri. Antiferro has, even ferri has, both are having domain structures. But in case of antiferro, opposite to ferro, right? Here there is a equal number of clockwise, anti-clockwise domains are there. As a result, what happened? Mutually cancelled, because the magnetic field produced by this domain is equal to this domain, but they both are opposite. So they are mutually cancelled. Therefore, the net moment is 0. But net moment is not 0 here, because they are having unequal, like 1, 2, 3, 3 clockwise, 2 anti-clockwise. So therefore, they produces net moment. The net moment is not equal to 0, but they are weakly attracted. Okay, right on. Antiferro magnetic substance, take down as this.